Hello lads and lassies and those of unspecified gender, it's the Irishman here, and today we're going to be talking about what would have happened if future Gohan had God Ki. This is the first part to this series, despite the fact I attempted to make another series with a pretty similar concept. In fact, it's the exact same concept. However, I added a bit too many headcanon attributes that I felt could have been handled better in their own story. I focused a bit too much on the other human fighters, and too little on Gohan. So instead here, Gohan will be the only person with God Ki, and I won't be taking away his Rage Boost. Mostly because I realized with both Rage Boost and God Ki at the same time, despite being overpowered in the beginning parts of Z, it doesn't change too much, but we'll get into that in a minute. Before getting into the video guys, please, for me, like the video, subscribe to the page, and hit the notification bell, that way you're notified whenever I release any new videos. Well, I guess like the video at the end, since you don't know if you like it until you've already watched all the way through. But either way, with all of that out of the way, let's get into the story of this What If. So, like I said in the intro, I will not be going into the first few arcs of Z, since Gohan having God Ki doesn't change all that much surprisingly. Think about it for a couple minutes on your own if you're really that bothered by it, but really it doesn't change much of anything. Gohan was already vastly superior, if not on par with whoever he's fighting when he gets a Rage Boost, so it'd be like putting a hat on top of another hat. You don't look cool, you just look kinda silly. Don't get me wrong, some things would change, mostly just to make things easier though. Like Raditz would be killed by Gohan, but he was already going to die in a few minutes anyway, and Raditz is a petty bastard. He would use the last of his power to kill Goku, taking him to the grave with him. Boom, nothing's really changed. Same with Nappa. Gohan would probably kill him after he kills Piccolo, but nothing really changes there since Nappa was going to die when Vegeta decided to stop being an ableist. The same thing pretty much applies to the rest of the series until the end of the Frieza saga. Then, getting into what is the future timeline to us, but just the timeline for this story, is when things get interesting, with the Android saga. Goku would be on his deathbed, about to die of a mysterious illness that no one understands, and then, as Gohan is standing there by his father's bedside, Goku would tell him to protect the Earth while he's gone, as well as make sure his mother's okay, before then fading into the afterlife while Gohan cries in his arms. Then he would leave, going outside into the nearby forest of Mount Paozu and screaming his bloody little heart out. And then he would transform into the almighty Super Saiyan. This is technically headcanon. We don't know how Gohan transformed originally, but this would make the most sense, if not when he's first fighting against the androids. But for thematic purposes, this just seems more fitting. Although in the years to come, Gohan, now having the incredible power his dad had a couple years ago, would believe that he'd be able to keep the Earth safe even without training, so he attempts to live a normal life, like he believes his father would have wanted. Yes, he does want him to protect the Earth, and Gohan definitely will, but at the same time, he also knows that Goku would have wanted him to live the life that he wanted to live, meaning that Gohan can do his own thing while not feeling like he's betraying his father's trust. That is, until the androids arrive. One day, during a break from homeschooling, Gohan would see a report on the news. 2 tyrannical Terminator teenagers have been wreaking havoc in South City. They arrived from 3 miles east, or something like that, and would be killing hundreds, possibly thousands of people. Gohan knows this is his call to action. He has to step in as possibly the only person who can save the day. After arriving in South City, Gohan would only utilize his base form, believing that Super Saiyan would be overkill and he probably won't need to go all out. However, he was dead wrong. These guys were able to majorly surpass the power that he's currently using, and even when using Super Saiyan, narrowly avoiding death by transforming, they're still capable of pushing him, challenging him, and majorly overcoming anything he throws at them. How is he supposed to gain the edge? What even are these guys? But then the other Z-Fighters would arrive to lend aid, but even they aren't enough to turn the tides of the battle. Gohan is majorly outclassed and the other guys are just cannon fodder. Even though Vegeta does have Super Saiyan by this point, they showed it in the manga for the Goku Black arc, it just isn't enough. The androids are too strong and one by one the Z-Fighters fall. However, Gohan, being slightly stronger than his original self, and being able to acquire God Ki boosts in short bursts, would be able to escape not only with his life, but also Piccolo's. Now, there were a couple reasons for this. One, Gohan needed a father figure in his life. He just lost Goku, and he wasn't going to lose Piccolo too. And seeing as Piccolo is probably the only person who could pull out his latent potential, Gohan would need him to be able to take on the androids later. They were far stronger than he could have ever predicted, and they seemed to have infinite energy, never wearing out or even showing any signs of fatigue. So he definitely needs somebody there to coach him and help him get stronger. He can't do it on his own. He couldn't in the original, and he knows here he wouldn't be able to either. After arriving home and patching up Piccolo, Gohan would begin to bandage his own wounds, telling Chi-Chi everything that happened, as well as scanning through news broadcast before news broadcast, seeing that these two were referred to as androids. However, he was able to make one of them bleed, meaning that they were not fully mechanical, and thus were cyborgs, not androids, but it's easier to refer to them as that, so androids 17 and 18. They refer to each other as brother and sister, 17 and 18, meaning that there is at least some human part in them. They feel things, they connect with each other, meaning that maybe, just maybe, there's a chance for them to reform. However, Chi-Chi would interject, saying that people that actually had a chance at redemption didn't slaughter people for fun. They didn't get a kick out of massacring the innocent. So those two, whatever they were, cyborg, android, human, whatever, they were far too past the deep end. Gohan would still hold out hope though. Then, after Gohan and Piccolo begin training some more, hoping to get strong enough to take them on, hearing about another attack on another city, Gohan and Piccolo would rush to the scene. Although this would go to prove just again and again and again that the androids are past redemption, and eventually Gohan would see that as well, and devote his entire rest of his life to taking down these menaces. However, with the aid of Piccolo, it wouldn't be that hard. Although it's not because Piccolo has some sort of a special gift or whatever. Rather, it's because he'd be able to teach Gohan how to utilize his full potential. They had tried it back when Gohan was 5, and they were able to make some strides, but didn't really do much at the time. However, now Gohan is a willing participant, active and ready to go. So, after only a couple of months, with some breaks in between to fight against the androids, they would eventually be able to make serious strides in actually getting Gohan to unlock his full potential. Eventually, it would work, and Gohan would awaken a brand new transformation. But I'm not talking about Super Saiyan 2. Rather, he would become a god. I cannot overstate how difficult this would have been for Gohan, seeing as he needs to gain full control over his rage, something even in modern-day Dragon Ball he wasn't able to do, which I think is what they're going for with Beast. He was able to gain access to the power of his rage through means like Elder Kai, however, he's never actually controlled it fully, but here, he would be able to. After months of training to do so, he would master his rage and then harness it into a different power while calm and collected, now becoming a Super Saiyan God. Standing there in a glowing, crimson, godly light, Gohan would look around, before being asked by Piccolo if this will be enough to take down the androids, to which the smug half-Saiyan would reply, "There's only one way to find out." Although Piccolo is worried, he has to admit he has faith in Gohan here. And after arriving at wherever the androids are, Gohan would begin dismantling them, part by part, piece by piece, and eventually the android menace is completely expunged from the Earth. Gohan wanted to give them a second chance. He wanted to see them redeemed, but he knew that wasn't possible. Even though he wanted to believe it was, he had been proven wrong so many times, he just didn't see a possibility where they could actually become good and reformed people. So he had to take them out the only way he could, through brute, unbridled, godly force. But that doesn't matter. All that matters is that the Earth is finally back to peace, and they can start to rebuild. And with the aid of Piccolo, who can provide the Dragon Balls, they can wish back all those killed by the androids. Well, except for the Z Fighters, seeing as they were all mostly wished back by the Dragon Balls before. So if they want to bring back their friends, they'll have to take a road trip to New Namek. And we'll continue into that adventure if this video gets, say, 95 likes. That seems reasonable. But with all of that out of the way, this is, always has been, and always will be the Irishman. Talk to you later.